Hello, loves. Welcome to today's episode of Tea Time with Monica. Today, this episode is all about talking about setting intentions, something we all try to do at the beginning of the year. And I've got my girl, Alicia, who I call Allie. So you guys are going to hear me just call my girl Allie Fitzgibbon with me to discuss this topic. For those of you who don't know my girl Allie, she is a Baltimore native singer, songwriter, creative, and energy worker. She expresses herself in a multitude of ways with her solo music, Borderless Alice, as well as her band Ginger Witch. I love it. Always an intuitive, Allie enjoys working with people one-on-one, using her mediumship skills alongside her vision and compassion. She brings groundedness and healing to those she works with through her practice that she co-runs with her sister Abby, Sister Song Healing. Welcome, Allie.
Thank you. I've been so excited for this.
Yes, yes, yes. So I always start each episode with a quote. So I found this quote and I think it works perfect to kick off this conversation. When we commit to an intention, all the places that need healing in order to make that intention really start to show. How does this quote relate to your experiences with setting intentions?
Oh, I just love that quote too. Yeah, I feel like intention work is really just allowing yourself to focus on a certain aspect that you want to kind of move through, something that maybe has been challenging for you. So really, it's just pinpointing your focus on a particular issue or something you're facing, and then you kind of start to see all the different ways that your relationship with that challenge manifests in your life. And that's kind of where you just start to like notice it's all very mysterious work, so like I don't really know all the answers, and I don't know if anyone has them, or I'm sure that a lot of people have very wise experiences with intention setting. But for me, it's like, you buy a car and then you start to see that car everywhere. It kind of works like that, just like pinpointing your focus, and then you start to see all the different ways that challenge intersects with a different challenge in your life. And it's just like a lot of different aspects come popping up for healing. And it's pretty cool. Yeah. But it helps you start somewhere, and then it's like a path to other things that you want to work on too.
Yeah, I think I experienced that with like going through therapy starting last year. Like I was like, this is what I'm going to therapy for. And so much more came out of what I needed to heal.
Yes.
So it's like I was setting my intention to, fix myself with my love life. That's what at the time was like, why am I having all this trouble dating? And then it was like, oh, but there's deeper things that you need to work on.
Exactly. Yep. And yeah, it really does work like that. And you start to see all the different ways that like, maybe I wasn't prepared for my partner at this point because I was still thinking that I wanted yada, yada, yada. But with all this other work, I'm really realizing that I want something a little different.
Yeah, that's exactly what I ran into.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's funny. The quote is right. Like the universe just takes you where you need to go. It's like, okay, I got your attention. Well, let me give you everything else.
Exactly. And in my experience with healing work, at least, you aren't shown something until you're ready to see it. Because it's kind of like built in. I call it like our body's intelligence or our energy's intelligence, but it's kind of just, it doesn't give something to you unless you're ready to really see it and work with it. So if you set an intention to, give yourself love in a different way or to kind of work through something, then your body knows what you're ready to handle, and you're not going to notice it unless you can handle it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, talk to us about how you began the practice of being deliberate about setting intentions.
I mean, it really is at like the base of so many things. And as I said, like healing work and like working with our inner realms and all of that fun stuff is incredibly mysterious. And every single day I'm like learning more about it. But something that has been a constant steadiness in my life has been the value of setting intentions. So, I mean, it started years and years and years ago when I went into healing. I started seeing a therapist and started getting into energy work to heal some really deep-rooted stuff. And it just started to really dawn on me that, like, if I want to do this, I need to tell my mind and all of its brilliance, but all of its challenges, where to look, because there's so many places that you can look if you like. I mean, there's always more to see. So, intentions help you kind of just give your mind something to focus on, and then your heart listens, and then your spirit listens, and then there's like layers of reality and different dimensions and like all sorts of stuff in my medium work that I experience, that it all ripples out into everything. So
it does.
It's been years. I don't know if that answered your question, but
I think you covered it, because I think it's like it kind of touches back on to be like, you may focus on that one thing, but like I said, we got your attention.
Yes,
we got your attention. That you want that, then you're gonna have to work on everything else over here.
Exactly.
So you can get there and be okay with it.
Yes. And our conscious minds only know so much, there's our subconscious too. So it's just, to me, intention setting has opened doorways. It makes things that felt impossible become possible. It helps me look at challenges and new perspectives and feel a sense of autonomy and self-agency over my life and my choices. Yeah, it's very powerful stuff.
It is. So let's talk about something that was in your bio about the energy work that you do. Explain that to the audience.
Oh, well, yeah. So that started about 6 years ago or so, and it's actually a funny story. So I first got into this around the same time that I started my own healing that I was speaking to earlier. Where I was in my roommate's room and she had all these crystals like lined out, and I had never worked with crystals. I mean, they were just beautiful pieces of earth to me, like not like anything spiritually significant. But I started to pick up different ones, and as I was holding quartz, I started to feel tingling in my left knee. I was like, what is that? And I would pick up a different one, and I would start to feel it like on the back of my head, and I'd be like, what is that? And I got so like curious, like because it was really clear to me that like my connection with these different stones was causing physical sensations, and I was like really baffled by it. So I started to ask questions like to different practitioners of various modalities, like what is this that what am I feeling right now? Like what am I tapping into? And I started to explore Reiki, and I'll just plug my teacher, Sharon Moore. Her practice is called My Alchemical Touch, and I mean she's just incredible. But and I started to learn Reiki, and there's always been something intuitive happening too, like working with other people. And I've been, ever since I started practicing on people, I've been tapping into different mediumship skills, seeing their ancestors, deceased loved ones, deceased friends come into the sessions sometimes. And I'll even call them sometimes and be like, this person was here. And they'll be like, oh, okay, hey, well, that person just passed and this is who they are. And, in one case, she was like, I wasn't able to make it to the funeral. So that is really powerful that she came here in today's session. It was just like things like that.
Wow.
Really remarkable, mysterious. It's all very intuitive. But yeah, like I think your question was more pointed to like what work I would do with a client. And that would be like, in COVID times, it's all distance, but, sending Reiki, sending love to their energy body, and while I'm connected, receiving messages from them on various avenues towards healing. And it's all very specific to each client, to each person, and it's just the coolest of the cool. I adore it.
I think people, and I'm glad you said that, like, it's very specific to each client, because I think people, when you say, when they hear people do this type of work and they're like, was it real? Like, how do I know that it's just specifically for me? Or you're not telling me what you tell someone else just so I can like hear something. And you're like, no, it's actually very specific. Like I have to feel it, and it's not going to come out unless it's supposed to come out in those sessions.
Exactly. And yeah, every single session is different. Even with the same client, like I have some clients that are regular, like I'll see like once a month, and even their sessions, even though it's on the same person, they're so different every time. And I kind of describe it as rungs on a ladder. Like each session, you're like you're on a new level. So of course things are going to start to look different. We're going to be shown new things. It's just like, kind of, in my opinion, why we're alive, is to like work through all these things and what we came here for, and how personal healing contributes to collective healing, and how it's all this like really intertwined, beautiful togetherness. Really, it just, this kind of work just makes you more able to love.
It does.
And that's the goal.
Yeah, it does. I think, because I've experienced Reiki. Like, audience, we met in like the weirdest way.
Oh, we get to talk about Kenya.
Oh, I love Kenya. If you guys have followed me on social media and see me tag Kenya Afro Goddess, who made my waist beads, and I've gone to get Reiki work from her, and I'm working through like my my birth chart. She is who connected Allie and I'll have to bring her on Tea Time one good time, so she could talk about all the things that she does. So much.
She's incredible. And I was gonna definitely talk about her too, because like we are who we are because of who we learn from. It's incredibly important to talk about that.
Yeah, it is. So I've experienced the Reiki, and some of the experiences Allie has talked about, like, seriously, and it is real work, and it is different and specific for everyone. And I just started, remember like when we first met, and I'm like, oh, I have crystals, I need to learn how to work with them.
Yes, I do.
Yes. So let's talk
about intention setting.
Right. So let's talk about like the crystals and how you may use them to help aid in your intention setting, and working through that energy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot that was one of our initial conversations.
It was.
Yeah. So what's really cool about intention setting is that, and this, I gotta kind of reference my recent deep dive into learning about Irish paganism as I've been connecting more with my ancestral ties to healing modalities, and Irish paganism is incredible. So it's all very personal to each practitioner. There's no book to follow. It's like it develops as you develop. And so the cool thing with intention setting is that it's kind of similar. It's like you do it on your own, and it can be crystals, it could be anything. It could be like a plant that you love, or a candle that you love to light, or really anything. I love to use thresholds of doorways, and practicing setting an intention, releasing something, and then walking through the doorway and imagining that being crossing into the next step of that intention coming to fruition, or whatever that is. So many things, from crystals to anything, can be imbued with an intention, and then, which is really just like holding it and thinking on your intention and creating a relationship with that object, which becomes a symbol, which then you can kind of, when you want to check back in, you can hold that object, you can go stand in that certain place, and you can reconnect with that intention. And it's kind of just this, like a conduit for the intention. It's all very cool. And yeah, I just love how spiritual work is all about self agency and how you really create it yourself.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, of course, also learning from others too. That's, I'd say it's 50-50, but intuitively creating it yourself is so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to my therapist, and she's actually the person who introduced me to Kenya.
Oh,
So it's all like a connection. But the last session I had, which it's funny that you say like you can do it, use anything to help you set in your intentions and you can work through it. She told me to get a plant. So I've been looking at getting like a peace lily and to take
ooh.
popsicle sticks and write my intentions and goals on that and put them in the plant, and then don't take them out till the end of the year because it's like I'm planting those seeds.
Oh, I
and
love that.
and to take them out at the end of the year to see what actually came to fruition, like what I grew in my life. So I
That's
can't
so
wait
cool.
to do that. I'll have to show you, audience, like how I like when I get the piece of like, writing on the popsicle sticks and actually
Oh
taking
yeah.
time to like have to put them in the plan and maybe listen to some meditation music and meditate on those things that I'm planting, those seeds that I'm planting for the year.
I adore that idea, and tell your therapist thank you, since
I
that's
will.
how you and I, through the course of introductions, that's how you and I
Right.
got connected. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
she's really good. But when she mentioned that in the last session, it's funny how you say like it doesn't have to be the crystals. You can use anything to
Exactly.
set your intentions. You can journal it. You can, meditate on it. It's so many
Yeah,
different ways that you have to find what works for you in your practice.
exactly. Because in the end, it's you.
Yeah.
It's you. So whatever you, uh, whatever calls to you is what will aid. I mean, yeah, it's just very cool.
Yeah. So how would you say a beginner would kind of explore what works for them? I mean, we've talked about like
Mm.
a whole array of things like crystals and learning, your ancestral work and all this. So how would a beginner, like, where do I begin after hearing all these different things? Like, all of it may sound cool, but how am I going to find what works for me?
Oh, I so this is where community comes into it, because
Mm,
when I first started, I asked questions to literally anyone who would listen, like, what is this? Like, what am and like literally anyone. I had stayed in an Airbnb during that time, and I was talking to the host, like being like, yeah, I started to feel crystals, and it's like I just like literally anyone who would listen. So I would say venture out. Like, we just named, well, all four of it, Kenya, Sharon, me, and you. I mean, like, you could reach out to any of us and just
yeah.
ask. Like, that's where collective power comes into it, because we are, not to be cliche, but we are like stronger together. And if you don't have the answer, someone else does. So
Yeah.
yeah, like if you can start by feeling into, like, if there was a particular part of what we've been saying that feels like it resonates, that's where you start. Like,
Right.
trust your gut wherever you feel like, ooh, that felt really good when I heard that, or I've already noticed that I've started to do things in that direction. I wonder if I could like Google whatever that is, or I don't know.
Yeah, because
It just
Google is your friend. Actually, yesterday, last night, actually, I was Googling the color meanings for waist beads because I was just talking to Kenya about making my own for the first time.
oh,
And my therapist mentioned what colors that she saw me having.
oh,
And because I'm a Cancer, I'm a daughter of the water. So she was saying, like the teal or turquoise or something in that blue aqua family. And I was looking up meanings behind that and other colors that I was kind of thinking of blending into those waist beads.
oh,
So I'm really excited to make them. I'm not going to share too much about it yet because I'll have to put it on my social media. You got to stay tuned. But
yeah,
I
just
am like
tease us.
really excited about, learning, setting the intention with that, like what that's supposed to mean and represent the protection and what I'm trying to bring into me.
That is absolutely incredible. I can't wait to see it. It sounds
Yeah, I'm
gorgeous.
super excited. Like I've got everything in my Amazon cart ready.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Google.
So when you work with crystals, do you have a specific ones that you like to work with? Because I know people know a lot about like the rose quartz or, like the quartz or maybe like amethyst and, citrine and all that. So which ones do you work with a lot?
Yeah, so quartz is great. And the one that I have the most jewelry in, and I'm looking at one right now that it's labradorite, which is moonstone. I believe it's older. I might be wrong on that. I learned it a long time ago and I forgot, but yeah, it's just a different age of moonstone, either older or younger, but it's like this iridescent like green, and when you like twirl it, it like changes colors. It like looks sometimes blue and orange, and I think you would love it actually.
Oh, I might have to check it out because I don't think I have one of those yet.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I'll text you that name, labradorite.
Labradorite.
Magic. Yeah, I just adore it.
Yeah, I've gotta get me some more crystals. My favorite is rose quartz. I love ruby. I'm a Cancer, so like I know some people are getting into crystals and looking at ones that have to deal with their zodiac. Is it good to start with a set that's close to your zodiac?
Oh, see, that I don't know very much about. I think that Kenya would be the
I've got to get her on here.
I know, she's got to get on here. Oh, gosh. I would listen to that on repeat.
They don't know what they're missing by not knowing Kenya.
No. Not yet at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So how often do you set intentions? Like, do you do it like, is it a monthly thing or just when it comes to you?
So I am trying to be more disciplined with it because I notice a difference in my focus and what I'm able to accomplish when I do it regularly. I just have trouble with routine. I want to like kind of let myself do whatever I want, but I need some discipline. So ideally, maybe once a week, even once every 2 weeks. I think that doing it every day, depending on the types of intentions, but doing it every day, I feel like would be kind of treating it like a boot camp, like a wellness boot camp. And I don't think it needs to be like that. So, because the cool thing about it is, like, as we were saying before, kind of letting it unfold with a life of its own. And, as your therapist said, like taking the whole year for it. And I think that allowing them time to grow, because sometimes it depends on the intention behind the intention. Because like, if we're like, I set the intention to start a relationship with that person, but then that person's like, who are you? Like there's, it's like, let's get to know why we're setting the intentions we're setting. Cause like, we don't, like if it's at its core, it's loving and consensual and like within good boundaries, then it's, for me, it's a go. But our egos like to make all sorts of different intentions that are just not great for us. Like I set the intention to get that job, but it's like, what if that's not the job that would make you the most happy? Or what if you're closing yourself off to, if you have the luxury of being able to choose, what if then you're closing yourself off to a different opportunity just because, like intention filled, I got that job. You know what I mean? It's like, get to know the core of why you're setting the intentions you're setting, because they are powerful, and that is going to be where you look from then on. So be intentional with your intentions.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's another question then. What are some myths about intention setting? Like, because I mean, you and I talked about that before this. And so with you kind of segueing it in about the whole job thing or setting an intention, just someone and being like, I don't know, you don't know why you're trying this.
Yeah.
What are some myths that people can say, like, about intention setting. Like that wasn't your intention, but it just came to you.
Right. So, oh gosh, I could talk about this for a really long time, but I'll try to be very succinct. There's something in the spiritual community that really bugs me, and let me preface this by saying I like fully acknowledge that I don't know everything and that I might not be seeing the fullness of this phenomenon, this study, and I know that there is truth in it, but what really gets under my skin is the law of attraction. Mm-hmm. I feel like that gets bundled up with intention setting in a really weird way. Mm-hmm. Or at least I've experienced that, although I have a lot of trusted people who do believe in the law of attraction, but it doesn't hit me well because it's like, I don't know, when I hear it said by people who also say like good vibes only and like stuff like that, I'm like, I don't know about all that, because because like saying like, oh, well, if you're walking down the street and you get mugged, that means that deep down you had the intention to be mugged or something. Like it gives way too much power to, like, it doesn't take into account the randomness and the chaos and like institutional oppressive systems that we have and institutional violence. Like it kind of like spiritually bypasses reality sometimes. And so I feel like that's why I said like intentions can be used as like a tool for self-autonomy in the sense of like, where do you focus? But as far as like what a random person, you know, does to you on a street, that is, you weren't thinking a thought that got you mugged.
Right.
Like it doesn't.
I wasn't thinking about getting mugged. I was just being cautious of my surroundings.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know if that's particularly what you were asking, but I feel like it sometimes gets like lumped in as like,
well, no, because like, you know, people to say like, if you think negative thoughts, you'll bring negativity on you. And sometimes that may be, you know, may be true, but not all. I don't think, but all the time. Sometimes things do happen, you know, some things that happen in life, you're not even thinking about it and it still happens and it affects you in a negative way.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and I mean, it's nuanced, like, like exactly what you said. Like, if I'm walking around the whole day thinking like I'm worthless, I can't do anything right, I'm like whatever, I'm a terrible person, and that is the thought in my mind day in and day out, then I'm going to start to see evidence to that. Everything is going to start to look like it proves that point. But it gets really victim blaming and weird when it's like random violence is explained that way, or like really anything in our white supremacist, patriarchal, oppressive structure of a world we live in.
Yeah, like, I don't think that a lot of things that have happened in the past few weeks, people thought that would happen to them.
Exactly.
Bring that intention on themselves.
Exactly. And so, yeah, I feel like it just, it like the law of and not everybody, because I understand where like the like putting positivity in your thoughts and putting love in your thoughts, how that does change your perspective of your surroundings. I totally can relate to that. But yeah, as a way of like excusing or explaining or spiritually bypassing reality, it just feels like, I don't know, I guess that's just a tendency that I see in a lot of spiritual communities that really gets under my skin, is to bypass reality by saying like, oh, but we're all love. And it's like, no, let's talk about can I curse on here? I'm just
sure. I don't give a shit. I curse all the time on this damn thing.
Exactly. But yeah, like it doesn't explain everything. And I think that when people try to do that, it's kind of a delusion. It's like we can recognize the divine within ourselves, and we also recognize the human, and the humans hurt each other. Like humans do some fucked up shit sometimes. So, you know, yeah, I don't want to use it as an excuse. I want us to be honest about it and be like, no, there's some things we need to change so that everybody can bring positivity in their lives.
Yeah, definitely. So what are any final recommendations you would have for the audience about setting those great intentions for the year or just weekly, monthly for themselves?
Oh, wow. Just start trying. Like, if you've never done it, just start. You know, small ones. Start like, and like, a good one is like, I said, oh, something really cool. I have started to, I lied earlier. I have been setting intentions every day. I've been, when I lay down to go to bed, I say I set the intention to sleep restfully and wake up feeling awake in the morning, feeling like ready to roll. And whenever I do that, it works. So like, start with like little things, or like, I set the intention to drink water right when I get out of bed. Because, you know, our bodies have been laying without drinking water for 8 hours or 7 hours or whatever. So they're dehydrated.
4 hours in my case. That insomnia kicks my butt.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. I don't know if intention setting will work for insomnia, but we could talk about other things.
We try to sleep a good 4 to 6 hours over here.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, start small.
Yeah.
And test different things, and just be loving to yourself while you do it, and, you know, try to be a little playful with it.
Yeah. Have fun with it. Don't make it a chore. Make it fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, how can my audience, you know, learn more from you or even get some of your services? Can you let them know how they can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So my practice with my sister Abby is called Sister Song Healing. So you can find our website, www.sistersonghealing.com. And we're on Instagram at Sister Song Healing. And yeah, Ginger Witch, our band that Abby and I also started. It's now a 5-piece electric band. There's a cello. It's real fun. That's Ginger Witch Band. So you can find us on Instagram at Ginger Witch Band. And I'm trying to think. I think that's about it, because our emails are connected. You could always DM us. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me and giving my audience some advice on intention setting. Audience, just remember, find what works for you. That's all you can do. Find what works for you and set those intentions and see where they take you.
Yes.
But do the work. Make sure you're doing the work.
Commit to the most valuable relationship in your life, which is your relationship to yourself.
Exactly. Definitely. Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you. Love you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you, audience, for listening to another episode of Tea Time with Monica. Bye, loves.